You just landed in a new country. You're surrounded by new sensations, new places, new faces, but it suddenly hits you. You don't actually know anyone. Your phone is quiet. No weekend plans, no one to grab a coffee or a beer with. Today, we will talk about how to turn that around based on my own experience and life abroad. I'm Marc Alcubé, and after 8 years living abroad in Germany, Italy, and Greece, I've learned the hard way how to build a community from the scratch in a complete new culture 3 times. If you are new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to stay tuned with all the expat experience tips, stories, and interviews that will make your expat life easier and much more fun. Moving abroad isn't just about learning a new language or discovering a new country and culture or just trying new food. It's about creating a new life and a life where you actually want to live in. So, friends aren't just social accessories, like, especially if you are an extrovert person like me that needs to have the community. They are your emotional safety net, your cultural guides, and basically your laughter therapy. Friendship, it's very important when you're living abroad. But the reality is that if you don't make the move to meet these people, nobody else will. Friends doesn't fall from the sky. And I've seen this over and over. One dinner, one meetup, one casual coffee can change everything. You never know where the connecting point or the connection between people happens, but you need to be there so it happens. That's exactly why I do this video today, where I want to explain you some specific tips on how to meet people while living abroad. But first, I want to talk about the balance on friendship variety and what I consider interesting to have as an expat, to have a good balance of friends type. The first kind of friends that I consider important are other expats. That's basic, but it's just nice to have because they understand the struggle that you might be passing through. Like, it's good to have expat friends as soon as they are not the only friends that you have, as soon as you don't create a bubble of only expats friends. That's my experience in there. An expat will understand your struggles, you don't need to explain it to them in too much detail, that they know what you are passing through, and they probably have some tips on how to solve problems like bureaucracy or things, because they also passed through that. So my suggestion here is trying to find a limited amount of experts to surround you, to share this kind of expert struggles that brings you together. Another tip that I have in there, it's finding a part of these people to be speaking your mother tongue. Um, Especially when you are for a long time outside of home, that helps you keep connect with your hometowns and your home cities and your home countries, but it also you have a connection that it's deeper than just being an expert. You know that you are from the same place, you have similar struggles, and you have similar things that you miss from home, for example. One big important part, though, it's something that I've seen multiple times. It's people who creates kind of groups of people only from their country of origin, and that's something that I would not recommend. What is the fun of living abroad if you end only going with people from your own country? The second group of people, it's definitely meeting locals, and I think they are key on any healthy expat country relationship. Um, they are the ones who will help you truly integrate, learn the language, discover the real culture, bring you to places that they only know and the expats doesn't. But they are the locals for a reason at the end. And in my opinion, these are the friends and the good friends that will lend you a hand when you have a problem and you don't understand something about bureaucratic mess, or you need some problem solving or understanding how you need to go to the hospital, which at some point might happen. But on top of that, when you make very good relationships with local people, normally that relationship lasts a lot longer than with other experts, because the connection, it's much more rooted, it's much more authentic in that sense. The third group, which has nothing to do with being local or expat people, it's finding interest-based friends, people that you hear share some hobbies, passions. It could be photography, sports, music, I don't know, volunteering, whatever. But it's an instant common ground, and it's one of the easiest way of meeting both expats and locals. It's a connection that goes beyond where people is from and beyond languages. Even sometimes you don't really need to talk. Sometimes playing sports to connect with someone, and that makes this also special and maybe one of the fastest ways to meet people abroad. We will talk about it later. So yeah, from in my opinion and my experience, trying to find the correct balance between these three persons, type of persons, it's what it makes your social circle stronger and more fulfilling while living abroad. But now let's go to the practical tips and methods that I used myself abroad to meet people, but also friends that I know that they use that. Not all of them will be successful for you. Not all of them are all successful for everyone, but I think at least a couple of them will be helpful and will work for you. The first one, joining a group sport. And I remarked the group sport, not an individual one, because you need to be doing something that it's a little bit more of a builder connection between teammates, in my opinion. Sports are in general a fantastic icebreaker, and you can choose, I don't know, from all the football, volleyball, basketball, and I don't know, even Quidditch if your city have. But the interaction that sport requires kind of generates a bond between people faster than with other things, and that's why I want to make the note on the group one, because it's easier to meet the one or two persons inside of the team that might connect with you, of a group of 10, for example. Actually, with that, I made two very good friends who I consider one of my or my best friends in Athens, playing futsal, playing indoor soccer. That's one of the ones that always work for me while being abroad. The second one would be joining a group activity, and that's related to the sports one. So if sports aren't your thing, I would say that you try something more creative or more social, such as painting, ceramics, doing theater, a book club, anything that gets you meeting regularly with a group of people, and the same group of people, I think is important. I on a little experience, self experience, I actually joined an improv group in Athens in English, and now in Bologna in Italian. And yeah, besides making myself for full in stage, and that's all. Maybe that's the icebreaker that make that the connections are faster. Also, that you are doing something that I don't know, that breaks the rule or the normality of work or normal standard social meetings. But it definitely was, and it's still here in Italy, the way that I met both expats and locals faster, without difference between the whole methods that we will talk today. The third one would be going to the expat meetups. And here it's where I want to remark again, keep the balance there. Expat meetups are great because you instantly connect with people who share the experience of living abroad, but don't only hang out with expats. I think the magic happens when you are able to combine a social circle of local and expat life. Although if you want to meet expats, it's one of the easiest and nicest way of meeting them. Fourth one, I find it very interesting if you are trying to learn a language, and that's searching for a tandem. Language tandem, it's basically two persons that meet to practice each other language. It's a very nice way of meeting local people. So, for example, I could teach someone Spanish for 30 minutes, and then the other person would do the other way around in Greek or Italian or the language that you're trying to learn. And why not? I mean, you are making new connection, new friends, meeting new people at the same time that you are learning a language. So it's a win-win. Fifth method would be going into the non-dating apps for making friends, let's say like this. And I have an more detailed video about apps that helps people to meet other people abroad. And if you want, you can check it out around here. Some of the most famous ones are, of course, the Bumble, or with the BFF or BBF mode, which is basically like dating but for friendships. Or mainly like for swiping a match or not match for a coffee, and without the need of dating anyone. I actually met a couple of good friends here in Italy using that one, and yeah, it's a nice way of meeting. But there is other applications like Timeleft, for example, which are more focused on going food wise. So we talk about them later. On the more meetup related, the sixth point would be going to joining voluntary groups or programs. Volunteering has a double win also, in my opinion, like the Language Tandem. You help a community, you meet normally local communities, and on top of that, while you're doing so, you meet a surrounding of people that normally share your values, which is also very important. It can be from cleaning up of beaches to animal shelters, but normally this experience lead to real and long friendships. As I said, the other option that you have on the internet world, on the online world, would be joining communities or using more specific meetup applications or websites like Meetup or Timeleft. At the end, Facebook groups still exist for that, and it's kind of strong. Groups for both local and expats. But where people talks about things, gives tips, ask for questions, but also often post about, I don't know, event hikes or just casual, I don't know, picnic coffee meetups. And actually it normally works pretty well to when you enter for the first time in a city to check up and log in and sign in these groups of Facebook. But if you're looking for something a little bit more event based and more organized, I will always recommend meetup.com. I think it's a classic. It has been there for a long time. You will find events from hiking to, I don't know, salsa nights, dancing, whatever you can think about. Another cool one, and I mentioned it before, it's Timeleft. It's a kind of newer app where you can join a table of random people for dinner or drinks. And it's kind of interesting. I tried a couple of times here in Bologna, and you enter a restaurant and you sit in a table and you enter with strangers, and maybe you end living with a handful amount of contacts. So if you're a foodie like me, this is one of the applications that I like the most. Eight, and the last one, it's a recommendation. Focus more if you work remotely or if you have the option to work from a co-working space from time to time. I've been working remotely for a long time, and I think one of the easiest ways when I was in Athens was going to a co-working space. These are places where naturally encourage conversations like in an office, over a coffee, or in a kitchen during I don't know, a lunch. It creates kind of the office environment without being too rigid, because at the end they are not your work colleagues, so they can be more open about the conversations than just talking about work. No, that's for me what I found is the advantage. One tip here is that I would recommend to go to smaller co-working spaces and not the big corporate ones, because normally the small co-working spaces try to organize more meetups and more things that goes around the social area. As a quick recap, a quick checklist of all of this. So basically, mix your friend types, expat locals, and shared interest friends. Be proactive. Friends don't fall from the sky, so you need to take the step to meet people. Join sport teams, lessons, volunteering groups, or all of them together if you have the time. Join online communities. Use applications that might transform in meeting people in real life and making friends. Learn the language basics. I think that's another one very important. It's a way of keeping in touch with the locals, and if you do that through a tandem, even better. And last but not least, if you work remote, try a small co-working space a couple of days or a week, and from time to time, join the working environment. All right, your turn. Which of these tips do you think useful? You want to try? Tell me in the comments, or if you already have great stories about how meeting friends abroad, would love to hear it. So yeah, drop a comment below, and I hope that I will be able to reply to all of you and hear about your experiences. On the other hand, if you found this video helpful, hit like, share it with a fellow traveler, and don't forget to subscribe to get more expat tips. And remember again, your community abroad won't just happen from scratch. You need to search for it.